Hi, YouTube. Cheers. I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing okay. Coffee break time. I have to do my exercises yet, but I was going to say, although I'm able to sort of open a door around people that drink, and it's, the Spirit of God. If you're around somebody and they're under the influence and they jump through that door, they can't close it. Only God can help them. If they present themselves questioning, you have to question yourself, am I dealing with a demonic spirit here? Then you open that door and let the Spirit of God examine that person. And only God can close it. And He'll close it when He wants to. So if somebody's acting like that, that's their decision. That's their free will. That's the decisions we all make continuously. So, and I bartended a couple places once for my mother-in-law, and I was able to have like a suite up above penthouse, and so it was a good job. Um, and then I worked in another place, and both places had on and off sale and food, but I just bartended because I'm a good one. So I'm not ditzing on anybody that drinks. And even though I was watching the Monograph channel and he got radical, I mean, I've been around that a lot in my life. So it's like, well, I mean, I don't want to, I did turn it off, but it's not because I don't like him. It's just that I wasn't in the mood to listen to that type of attitude for the reason it was happening. So that's all. I'm not down on anybody's case like that, you know. I've never had a problem with it, but I drink. Well, I haven't. Well, I have a problem. I'm allergic to hops and all kinds of liquors and stuff physically. So in that respect, I have a problem with it. But you know, as far as caring about people, I worked in a treatment center as a TMA and a counselor, you know, and we were paid by the state. And I worked as a paraprofessional with handicap use and other areas in my life. So, I mean, I literally care about people. So I'm not out here like, oh, you're drinking, you're a bad human being. No, it's not like that at all. But are you susceptible to the spirit of Satan when the Holy Spirit is around and you have the choice? What choice are you going to make? That's your free will. It's a if or a if not situation. It's one or the other. It's not a little bit here and a little bit there. It's really one or the other. So when somebody doesn't believe in their creator, or if they're unsure who that creator is and why and how, all these questions can be answered in our souls. You know, ask for the clear answer. With my ego or anybody's ego, you have to put it aside and you'll know in your heart right from wrong, you know, immediately. So that's my observations in life on that. So I just thought I'd make that clear. I'm not in fact I have a craving for a beer every once in a while. A really good like a lager, and I've been craving a pina colada for the longest time, but I would have to be prepared to have a meal with it and feel kind of ill afterwards. Is what happens with stuff. So I have to be really careful, you know. And I used to get really sick. I'd go out dancing and drinking or something, and I'd get sick, and I hadn't drank that much. I thought, well, I'm just a lightweight. I'll let people make fun of me, whatever. But then I really did learn how to like drink beer or whiskey or like, and so I thought, well, it really isn't kind of that. It's more, I think, actually having allergies to what's in a lot of these things, like tannins in red wine. I'm allergic to the tannins. So, like, if I were going to have a wine, it would have to be like a really, um, probably a dry white wine would be my best. Like, I like a Rhine wine from the River in Germany called Liefermilch, um, milk of the gods. It's literally made out of melon rinds, like watermelon or whatever, and it is so delicious. There's a company that makes a white wine and a black wine, and it's called Black Tower Winery, and it comes in a cylinder about that big around, and it looks like almost like a bomb or something, like a torpedo, but it's the coolest. Like it's a bumpy glass, even, and which is cool because, and even with the white one, because it does keep the sunlight or temperatures out of it, and it's dimpled. It's the really coolest glass wine. I love wine bottles, so but I don't have a lot of them. I have a couple, but you know, I can't remember what this one was, but it's cobalt blue, and I kept it, and I have it in a arrangement for one of my big plants. So anyway, and it looks pretty, and um, I don't know. So yeah, anyway, I'm not down on people that drink alcohol or whatever you do. I'm not down on you like that. I wish you luck in life, and I don't want people to be sick. And we are more susceptible the worse we treat ourselves. So yeah, that's why I detox and exercise and try to eat right. I did go this last month. I went about well, within a 3 week period, I went 2.5 weeks with no sugar, which was pretty good. I had one break, and then last night I had some chocolate. So, but if I only have that like once a week, like I've been doing, that beats the heck out of like every day having sugar and fat and all that. So, I've been trying harder, and I don't really supplement it with fruit or anything like that because I don't want to have the carbs and sugar are unnecessary and could lead to heart disease and pre-diabetes with too much sugar, even the natural sugars. So, and it depends on your body and who you are, but sugar hits me hard, and I was thinking a lot of times with even drinking that could be part of it, not just my allergies, but that can also hit me pretty hard. So, yeah. It's like I say, I have to be careful, but and I think everybody does. If you're not eating right and you're just drinking or like smoking, or like I detox and I try to, but I enjoy smoking. So anyway, yeah. Not much really going on around here except for I did some sweeping and mopping and changing some plants around again because I didn't like where I had them, and just dishes and whatever, that type of stuff. So, yeah, just a minute. if anybody's concerned about these rumors of wars and all the crap that's going on, don't waste your time. There's nothing we can do by worrying about anything. These people in the world are going to do what they're going to do. God's going to do what He does. And that's take care of all of us, no matter what that is. And I have faith in that. So I wouldn't worry our minds one second on any of that. But there's something inside me I was gonna say, and for the life of me, I can't think of it right now. It's like, what the heck was I thinking earlier that I was gonna talk about? So that's what the puzzledness on my face right now is like. What? Uh, well, I knew the first thing I was going to talk about was that alcohol thing. So, heck, if you came over and I had something and you wanted it, I'd ask if you wanted it when you came in. You know, coffee, tea, or alcohol, or juice, or, milk. What do you want? Water? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I think too, I was just thinking about, when you're directing the spirit of God on somebody's spirit when they're a little shady, to see if they got a lot more shade to go along with that. And then you know who they are like that. You can see how far you're going to push it, but you can't push it far enough because there is no limit with that. You know, they'll go far. The farthest, not a doubt, no doubt, absolutely no doubt. You know, that's the Nephilim spirit. You know, if you take offense to that, somebody that I think unsubscribed to me because I said I didn't really, that I was going to leave his live stream. Well, that's the way it is. If we can't work it out by talking about it, well, gotta work it out for us, homie. So I just know going into anything with pure intentions is the best way to go, and always telling the truth. Those things right there always give me a righteous stance on anything I'm talking about, because I'm not insane, and I can obviously show this to the world like, look, the world is insane, and this is how we're going to stop it. We're going to use our voices. Like people say, like, go sit down, the adults are talking. It's like, first off, child, do not demean me. A lot of people, I'm talking to them. It's like, don't demean me like that. The adults have been talking way before you were even a gleam in your old man's eyes. People have been on this subject between what is good and what is not good. We're pretty clear what makes a strong society, you know. And the clowns will die off. Yes, they will. They'll kill themselves, you know. Clowns, one clown and another clown cannot have clown babies. They can dress up like clowns, and they can dress up like clown babies, clownettes and clownerettes and all of them. So, but it won't make a baby clown. So they'll ace themselves out eventually anyway. Thing is, if there's adopted children to slave out to these freaks, they will keep going into communities and preying on the vulnerable. And that's a big thing with my writing to the state that I haven't heard anything from. And I'm going to have to do something more about it if I don't get an answer from these people. And it's been over a month. So on the, I do believe they probably got it about at least by the, I'm thinking 18th of last month. So, yeah. Neighbors revving up their truck. Yeah. It's been kind of cold out at nights already, a little chilly. It was 55 today. Kind of rainy yesterday, kind of icky. Not maybe pouring rain, but like wet and drizzly. And it's been kind of damp and not really sunny today, but we are going into the fall. Well, we are in fall. That's why all the demons have been out to play since the 21st with the solstice, winter solstice, you know. So their dark season is upon us, you know. You know what they don't know, when the sun is darkened, you know, that spirit of Christ and the moon won't give her light. They it's going to be more literal than people understand in their spirits, because and it's going to be quieter, the the nurturing guidance that a lot of people had gotten. I mean, that's not going to stop with God's people at all. It's just that people that have been getting love and attention for a long time and forgiveness are no longer going to be getting that, you know. And that's from all sides, because the satanic spirit isn't what it used to be. Uh, it was jealousy out of love that turned Satan wicked. And I think all of us on this planet have felt that one at one moment or another in our lives, unfortunately. And that's something he did want everyone to feel, you know. What if he didn't anymore? What if what he thought he loved, he didn't really love because he didn't understand it? Then he hated it, and then he started loving it again because he found out that that was who he used to be before he got all nasty, you know? So there's a lot of praying. I think that people, um, not just searching inside yourself, but uh, for us to start lightening up the dark. Just keep on keeping on with it's not always just good vibes, that you know, and that's a fact. If a bad vibe enters into our aura, um it's not that you have to join in with it, but don't play with it and don't let it play with you. Put your foot down and speak your mind, and then try to let it go. If they won't let it go, attack verbally with your mind. God will always guide our minds, the Spirit of God. I don't really worry too much what I'm going to say. I just wanted to make sure that I covered that situation with the understanding of how we examine somebody's soul, especially somebody's that's inebriated. It's not that you're directing any bad energy at all, because that isn't you. You put the Holy Spirit there that can open the door for either of those spirits. That has nothing to do with you as a person. If you're in a situation where you're trying to help a soul, you need to use um, the Word of God and the presence of the Holy Spirit in your, it's like a toolkit, you know? So, yeah, let's wrench on these. Oh, ratchet time, impact wrench, yeah. Air impact wrench with a giant compressor behind it with a tiny hose for pressure. then I'll wrench on that thing. We about like a split second, barely touch it. Ratchet. I think that's what happened to Satan. God went up to him with a pneumatic impact wrench and went whew, whew, and some screws fell out, and that was that. And he looked at him and he said, "Well, Iron Man, you're gonna rust, and I'll be back when you're dust, and then we'll talk about this." I think that's kind of how it went too. At least that's the way I do it. What if, I think I might have said this before, but they say that from dust we come and dust will go back, that Adam was made from the earth, but from the dust of the earth. What if the earth literally did come out of the moon and Adam literally came from the moon, but by the time he got here, he was satanic and humans weren't even evolved yet? Um, they were still angels. And then they came down here and everything was chaotic because nobody knew what the hell they were doing. I don't know. I'm just wondering. you know. But I've always felt that the moon isn't through space, it's through a firmament like a glass. And we can't get there, but there is an ethereal opening for our soul when we leave here, and we will be recreated in, um, the words are, glorified bodies. So that nothing ever happens to you, you know. That as remarkable as the human body is, the next phase of evolution for our souls ascending like Christ did, if you believe Christ is, um, there's a spirit from God that works in people. If you truly feel that and feel the message that He went ahead for us and is still helping us here and is going to be back and we're going to recognize Him as our King, I believe that. I honestly do. I always have, you know. So, and I think there's a lot of people that feel about that just like I do, that we're going to see things change in our lives, and we're elected to see that at these times in our lives, you know. And some will go through the great tribulation, and others the rapture, like God hugging you, taking care of you, and no matter where you are, you're going to be okay. That's the rapture. That's what I think is his. I think you'll feel His presence holding you when everybody else is scared shitless and witless. That's what I kind of think is going to go on, and give you the reassurance that He's with you all the time. That's what I think. So, been a lot of noise out there today, like air traffic, and I am in a flight path for the National Guard. So, oh no, neighbor's lawnmower. That's what that is. I'm gonna drop a link for my friend Robin's Hood. Um, he does some really good videos, and I think he believes like a lot of the people that are actually trying to trick me into believing other things in this world. Um, I think he realizes that they're all a part of the dark cabal and they work in it together. I call Mason babies. Um, and I think he's starting to really recognize who those are. Um, Basically, if they do have quite a large channel, um, they've had something behind them that gave them that foot in the door at the time where um, some may not have had that, you know. So that's my belief. Like the who's out there that the rest of us listen to. Maybe not all. I think there's a few, and I do think too there's some that are part of the dark cabal that are repulsed by the things that are going on within their own group. And Satan hears their brain too, and they hear his softening from what it was to what it is right now isn't as bad as what it used to be in that respect. But there's a lot of people making money, and their greed isn't allowing them to even entertain the thought that they're going against the grain of their very own master and have no clue what's going to happen to them because of that. So, um, and I'm watching it happen. I get to watch it happen. You get to watch it happen. Isn't that the coolest thing? You know? So things are looking up like that, you know. Yeah, it's really weird when, like I call them the dive bombers, but they're like cargo carriers go over, and there'll be like two of them at a time, and they're just getting off the ground. So they're like really right over my house, and when they land, they're right over my house. When I first moved out here, it was right after Desert Storm had been going on. And my youngest son and I and my oldest were out in the yard, and Jonathan hit the freaking ground. Helicopters went over, Army helicopters, and that kid hit the ground and started screaming like he was in Desert Storm, you know. Luke and I looked at each other and sort of laughed, but I did pick him up, and I told him it's okay. But God dang it, I I never thought. Of course, he's a pretty good actor too. Yeah, he usually acts like an ass. So, but it was funny. And he was about, I think he was 5. So yeah, he was something else. Red hair, big brown eyes. My other one's blonde haired, blue eyed. So Luke and John, Lucas, Jonah, and Jonathan David Larson is who I used to be, a Larson, yeah, for a while. Too long, way long time. Their dad and I met when we were 17 years old. So, yeah, that was a while ago. 1976, you know. A friend of mine was born in that year. It was a good year. Good year for the world, a good year for looking forward to opportunities and good music. And dang, that was some fun times. Yeah. Well, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. And I'm going to leave a link to probably Robin's most current video. You might just want to get to know him because he's a really nice person, thinking about the things in the world like we are and how we can all help each other. And he has the Christ spirit in his heart. It's not a doubt in my mind. So, at least I'm pretty sure. I think I've said before, for some people I would stake my life, but not my soul. So I'll go that far with that, you know, because I believe in the afterlife. Hope you do too. I hope you're part of the family. Like I said, we're not going to be sitting around on the floor on pillows, all grabbing onto God's cloak or anything like that. When it says my Father has many mansions, He's prepared a way for you and a place for you to go, with promises of e- enjoyment instead of feeling like you're learning with your head on a workbench in a vice. You actually don't have that pressure anymore, and um, that's the pleasantries of no ill feelings ever again like that. So, okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.